Hello everybody, I am home. I'm setting you actually at my cupboard. So, breathing, I just got home. A little out of breath, went up the stairs and everything. I hope you heard my message earlier. I'm running a little bit late tonight. So, about 20 minutes late. So, thank you for your patience. Thank you for waiting for me. And before I start the cards, I actually have to feed my kitty, who's been waiting patiently for me to return all weekend. I was actually gone all weekend. I got to go hang out in the woods at a friend's cabin. And so my poor kitty hasn't seen me since Friday night. And now she's starving, so I need to make sure she gets her food. So, here you go, Kit Kat. Let me give it to you down here because I need the table, okay? Here you go. Okay. Meow. There you go. There's your food. All right. So, thank you for your patience as I get us set up here. La la la. We must believe we're magic. Do 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 do. Oofda. All right. So. Oh, I'm sorry, Kit Kat. I am just home. For those of you just joining us, I just got home. And so I'm having to grab my cards out of my bag. I've been doing readings down at Crescent Moon Gifts in Tacoma all day. And before that, I was gone all weekend and had a more than an hour's drive this morning to get to Crescent Moon because I spent the weekend at a friend's cabin out on the peninsula. So I got to do my first birthday party. It was so much fun. They hired me to do my shamanic stuff, and the woman whose birthday it was and her brother were there, and they wanted to connect to their father who had passed like 20 years ago or something like that. So I got to play psychic medium and connect them with their dad, and it was so heartwarming. And the stuff that comes up is like you can't make it up. It's just amazing. And then so I was like the first hour, and then the next hour and a half or so I was doing card readings for the rest of the people at the party. And it was really fun because they all kind of gathered around. Each one took a turn, but everyone was present there. And I made almost every single person cry. In a good way. So that was amazing. And then I got to do my pipe ceremony in the woods with the fairies. Did some stargazing last night. Amazing weekend. And then did readings all day today at Crescent Moon. So, oofda, I've got just enough energy left to do this tonight. So, and if you were here last week, I kind of changed the program a little bit, and I still pulled the 3 cards. Oh, so hello, my name is Patrick. I am the owner of Perching Wolf Studios, and we are pulling medicine cards. Tonight is our weekly Monday mini medicine card reading pull, and what we do is I pull 3 of these lovely medicine cards, each one with a different animal totem on it, and then you choose a number between 1 and 3, or 2 or 3 numbers, and then whichever card corresponds to the number you asked for. I will do a little reading and tell you what the message from that animal is, and that is your guidance to get you through the week. And like I said, if you were here last week, I kind of changed the format a little bit. Usually I just talk on and on and on and on and on about the 3 cards. And last week I was explaining how in all the stuff I do, whether it's teaching or healing or whatever, I always like there to be an experiential component to it, because otherwise everything I do is hearsay, right? It's like you hear me say this, well, that's what that means, this is what that means, but none of it sinks in on a deeper level. So if I can do an experiential component to all the things I do, then it's felt, then it's embodied, and then it is your experience, and no one can take that from you. So last week I started doing the 3, I still did the 3 cards, but I gave an abbreviated explanation. Cards! Exclamation. And then I did a guided meditation at the end, so that you could meet with the power animal that came up for you and get your own message from it. I am not sure if I have the energy tonight to do a guided meditation. I might fall asleep partway through it on my own, so we'll see what happens, okay? We'll go with the 3 cards first, and then I'll see where we are, how much energy I have left. But, after I do the live videos, I always share them to my Facebook page, and I also upload them to my Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel. So last week's readings is up on my YouTube channel, and so if we don't get time to do, or the energy to do the guided meditation this week, you can actually go back and watch last week's video, fast forward it to the meditation part, and just plug in the animal, whoever comes up tonight. So, good, that means that I won't leave you hanging. So, all right, let's see who comes up tonight. All right. Interesting. All right. So choose your number, 1, 2, 3, or 1 and 2, or 1 and 3, or 2 and 3, or 1, 2, 3. And here we go. Okay. Number 1. If 1 is the card you chose, you have the Lynx. The Lynx is the keeper of secrets. She is, in many ways, like the matron saint of psychics and intuitives. You look at those eyes. She looks at you, and she knows exactly who you are, what you are. She doesn't have to guess. She knows everything about you by just looking at you. She can see right through you. And so there's no hiding. So if that's your card tonight, know that that is one of your superpowers, to be able to see through to the heart of matter, see to the heart of people. When you're aligned, when you are authentic, there is nothing anyone can hide from you. The trick is make sure you're not hiding secrets from yourself. Lynx can see through other people because she's totally clear and transparent to herself. There's no pretenses, like we always have a tendency when we're growing up to kind of hide. We kind of pretend that we're someone we're not, or we pretend that we don't do that thing over there even though we do, or, we have these little mental hide and seek games that we play with ourselves. And a lot of times that comes from trauma, a lot of times that comes from self-judgment, or from the judgment of other people that we take on as our own voice. And so Lynx is coming along to help you be able to see through those things. It doesn't matter who you think you are. In your essence, in your purity, in your authenticity, you are pure light and love. You are an aspect of the divine, and anything else is a fallacy. So it's like, I've mentioned Martha Beck before. She is one of my favorite authors. She wrote this book that was one of those turning point books for me. And it's called Finding Your Own North Star. And it's basically about how to navigate your life based on your own heart, on your own bearings. We grow up with outside authorities, bosses and teachers and parents, oh my, and we're told that, we have to answer to their authority. We're basically taught from a very young age to ignore our own voice, to ignore our own heart, to disown our own authority, right? And so then when we become adults and we're trying to find ourselves, we're still looking to outside sources. We're looking to religion, to, groups or opinions of others or trends or whatever it is to find our identity. And the only way you can find it is by shutting out the outside world and turning inward. What was I going to say about that? Oh, Martha Beck. Thank you. Finding your own North Star. You have all the bearings, all the navigational equipment, all the compass that you need within you. And like Martha puts it, she talks about the shackles on and the shackles off feeling. If you say something, if anything makes you feel, if you're thinking about yourself, if you're like, oh crap, that was stupid, and you feel like, it feels like you became smaller because you became like the shackles went on. Like all of a sudden you're less than. All of a sudden you look at me ducking, it's like anything that makes you feel smaller is untrue. If something makes you feel like the shackles came off, that feeling of lightness in your heart, something that makes you feel uplifted, that is true. It's that simple. The hard part is paying attention to that, listening to that, and with the help of Lynx, seeing through those illusions that we have been raised with that seem like gospel truth. It's brings up that that quote by Marianne Williamson about fear and how it's not our darkness that we fear, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light that we fear, because as long as we're dark and sinful and peons, worthless, then we don't have to do anything, right? We can keep ourselves going in these subsistent patterns of just survival and getting a paycheck and eating and going to bed and going to work. But that is not the truth of who you are. And it takes strength and it takes courage to look into that shadow, to look into those fallacies we've been raised with. Those belief systems that say that we're small and worthless and we shouldn't, don't let others pay attention. Don't be seen. By all means, don't let anyone notice you. But in that same quote by Marianne Williamson, it's like playing small does not does not serve anybody. You ask, who am I to be fabulous and powerful and strong, but who are you not to be? That's the truth of your being. And Lynx comes along to help you see through those shadows, to see through those fallacies, the illusions that you've been raised with. It's like the elephants, like in the circus, in the old time circus, the elephants, when they were young, they would use chains to tie them up. They would put a chain around their leg and tie them up so that they couldn't go anywhere. And it became such a belief in their minds that the adult elephants, all they needed was a rope to tie around their leg and to put it in the ground, because the elephant kept himself captive because he believed that rope was too strong to get away from. Those are the beliefs. It's like it's time to look at those things. Anything that makes you feel like the shackles go on, that is a falsehood. All it needs to be done with is look at it. It needs to be seen. It needs to be accepted, and then it clears. It's like looking at the shadow. All it needs to do is be acknowledged, and most of the time it will dissipate on its own. So do yourself a favor and look at your light. Look at the light and the purity and the authenticity of who you truly are, beyond what anyone else says, okay? No one knows more than you. No one is more powerful than you. You are the only authority who can say who you are, what you are. No one else has the power to do that unless you give them that power. And again, that's like that rope around the elephant's leg. You're like, okay, well, you know better than I do. That's just totally giving your power up. And the world needs your authenticity. The world needs that uniqueness that you bring to the world. And that can only arise when you have the courage to look. So look inside, clear those cobwebs, clear those shadows. They've been hanging around long enough. It's time for you to shine. Okay? That was really interesting. I don't think that is definitely not a conversation I've had concerning Lynx before. That was a different conversation, different thing coming through for Lynx than I've ever said before. So that was really interesting. All right, number 2. 2 is your card. You got Snake. Snake is such a powerful totem. It's like snake is such a strong what word am I looking for? I want to say symbol, but it goes beyond the word symbol. It's like snake is such the embodiment of shamanism. Snake is in a constant cycle of shedding the old and emerging into the new. And then the new becomes old, needs to shed that, needs to move into the new. It's that constant circle of death and rebirth. So if this is your card, if you chose number 2, you got Snake, chances are you are going through a change right now, a transformation. Things are probably shaky. The old things that used to work no longer work. It seems like what was solid before no longer can support you. That's because you are literally outgrowing your old reality. The skin of your old world is shredding. And the thing is, it is such an uncomfortable time because the old skin is shredding. So that's uncomfortable. It's itchy and scratchy and uncomfortable, and it's peeling away, and yet the new skin underneath that is bursting out of the old is still tender and soft and sensitive. So right now you're probably feeling like a pincushion, constantly hit by other things. Everything is frustrating or irritating, or takes you from elation to despair. Right now things are in upheaval, and so the best, like right now, is a time for self-nurturing. It's funny because Valerie, my fiance, who's on here right there too, we were just talking this morning about how when you're in the dark, when there's no way clear in front of you, it's time to rest. It's time to wait. It's time to nurture yourself. It's time to do the things that bring you comfort, the things that bring you joy. And to really just nurture yourself, because right now the path is not clear. The eyes of the snake is part of the skin that it sheds. So when the snake is shedding its skin, it is blind. It cannot see anything in front of its face. That's probably the way you're feeling right now. It's all a shambles. You might see shadows and shapes and stuff, but nothing is clear. Deep breath. Surrender into yourself. Surrender into where you are. Know that this is happening with a purpose. This is not accidental. It is not by accident. This is happening because you are growing. This is a sure sign that you are expanding, that you are growing. And so celebrate yourself. Give yourself the credit for coming through everything you've come through before. Let the old fall away. With the skin, shed the tears. That is so healing. Those tears coming up and clearing all the extra trauma and all the crap that you've been holding in for so long. That is part of the skin that is shedding. Shed the tears. Let yourself cry. Let yourself curl up with the teddy bear. Just stay in bed for a day or two if you can. Do what makes you feel good. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Right now is not the time for action. And being in the dark, it is a time of nurturing not only yourself, but faith. Nurturing that connection. Whether you believe it or not, I'm a great proponent of affirmations, right? Because even when we can't believe them ourselves, if we can say them as if we do believe them, if we can say things like ingratitude for the things that we haven't quite reached yet, that is building faith, and that actually reprograms the neurons, the neural pathways in your brain. Affirmations reroute your brain to make you more open to possibilities, and it's a way of fostering that faith that I am in the right place at the right time. Only good can come of this. I am safe. I am nurtured. The universe watches out for me. Everything works out for me. All is well in my world. Okay? Take care of yourself. Don't push yourself beyond your limits. Let that new skin solidify, become solid, impenetrable, and then when that, and when a snake sheds its skin, it comes out of it backwards, so its head and its eyes are the last thing to be free of the skin. So it reminds me, I was raised Catholic, and it reminds me in the Bible of talking about the scales falling from your eyes. It's like when the scales fall from your eyes, literally, then the path clears up. Then you can see where you're going. Then it is time to move, but not until you see that clarity. If there's no clear path, wait. Like, to bring out the geek in me, there's that scene in the first Star Wars movie, not the one with Luke Skywalker, but the first one with Ewan McGregor in it and Liam Neeson, and they're chasing Darth Maul, and they get separated from him by this force field, right? Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, starts pacing back and forth, and he's like, ugh, I want to get in there, what's going on, like just frustrated and anxious and wanting to do something. Liam Neeson, being the older, more experienced Jedi Knight, sits down and meditates because there is nothing he can do. And so he's conserving his energy, he's recharging, rather than Obi-Wan, who is expending energy that can better be used focused. He's scattering his energy, he's running himself down, his mental state and emotional state is draining. And so it's like when there's no way forward, rest. Know that the universe unfolds with a perfectly harmonious solution. When it's time to move, the pathway opens and you will be clear, and the way will be cleared before you. Okay? All right. Number 3. This is cool. This card, I swear, has come up in almost, maybe half to 3/4 of the readings I've done in the past 3 or 4 days. And it is not one that I don't remember it popping up here before. It may have during the Monday mini medicine card readings, but I don't remember the last time it did. But it's been coming up a lot lately. Grouse. If that is your card, if number 3 is the number you chose, it is... So, if you chose both of these, there might be a little bit of a sticky point, because grouse is about movement. Grouse is the embodiment of the spiral dance. When grouse dances their mating dance, they dance in a spiral. They swirl. They're like little whirling dervish. And so they perfectly demonstrate the spiral, which is the oldest known sacred symbol we have. And it brings in the connection of everything. Life is a spiral. Everything is a spiral. And it's in everything from pine cones to seashells to hurricanes to DNA that DNA that's inside of you is a spiral. It's that sacred spiral. Grouse so it's about that whirling, it's about the dancing, it's about waking up that inner child. You know, like when you were little and you used to roll down the hill, or you used to just put your arms out and just spin in circles until you got so dizzy you fell down. That's what we're talking about. It's like waking up that inner child, playing, dancing for no other reason than to dance. And it's about dancing to your own drum beat. Grouse is literally the thunderbird. When grouse beats its wings, it does it in such a way that it creates the same phenomenon that creates thunder. You know, like when lightning supercharges the air and it creates a vacuum, and then the air slamming back together creates that thunder. When grouse beats its wings, it does it in such a way that it creates this vacuum. And so the air is constantly banging back together. And it's like, it's the heartbeat. It's like the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And it's amazing. About 15 years ago, I went on a vision quest out in the woods up in near Darrington, Washington, out in a national forest. And I woke up in the morning to the grouse drumming, but I couldn't really hear it as much as I felt it. It was palpable, and I felt it here. It is the heartbeat of the mother. It is your heartbeat. That is the drum beat that you are meant to follow, that you are meant to dance to. And so it's just this joyous, giddy inner child dancing and spinning and playing for no other reason than to have fun. Another thing about grouse, looking at this picture here, you see that he's got that red bit on the side of his neck. There's another one on the other side. And those are actually air sacs. And when they're doing their mating dance, those air sacs fill up with air and become bigger than his head. And so it's like this, here I am. Love me or leave me, I don't care. This is me. It's about letting your true colors shine. Going to your own drum beat, marching to your own drum beat, being unique. And yet, you're part of that spiral that connects us all, that connects all of nature, all of the universe. It's playing that special part, that special facet of the divine that is uniquely you. Seems like there's something else about grouse. Nope, I'm not getting it. I'm just grousing around. Yeah, so the main point is it's time to move, you know. And even if this message came through and it's like, okay, it's time for inaction. It's time to sit in place. There's nothing wrong with dancing in place. Spin in place. Be the whirling dervish. I don't know if you know what a whirling dervish is. Grouse came up in a reading today, and I mentioned that to a woman, and she didn't know what that was, so I had to kind of explain it. But in the Sufi religion, there is a group called the whirling dervishes, and they are these holy people, and there's actually a group in Seattle here, and they basically dance in circles, and in that way they go into trance by dancing, whirling in circles, and it puts them into trance, and it connects them. There's the spiral again, see? Connects them to spirit, to creator, and they have profound experiences, come out with profound poetry, words, songs, whatever. So even if you have to rest, even if you need to stay put, stay still, you can still play. You can still dance in place, just spin. Or Tai Chi. I love Tai Chi, and that's another, it's like grouse with that spiral. Tai Chi is the perfect example of, it's like wheels within wheels. And when you start to learn the Tai Chi, it's like you're staying pretty well in place, so you don't cover much ground, and there's that constant movement and that constant flowing of energy, even though you're not going anywhere. And it's the yin-yang, it's the soft and the hard, and it's amazing how much work it takes. You think, oh, Tai Chi, that's not a real martial art, that's not strenuous. But I tell you, if you're doing it correctly and you're really doing it slowly the way they say you should, you will be sweating buckets by the end of it. And it is also, in my opinion, one of the most powerful martial arts. If you have to compare them, my Tai Chi teacher had a student who was also taking karate, and he wanted to balance, kind of the masculine and feminine energies, and he was taking Tai Chi. And so he was practicing some Tai Chi moves one day, waiting for his karate class to start, and his karate coach came out and started laughing at him and making fun of him because, those soft martial arts, those are pointless. Oh, you're like a woman, blah, blah, blah. And the student was like, well, no, it's actually really powerful. And so the coach challenged him. And so they had a machine. I don't know what it looks like, but it's like you kick it, and it tells you how many pounds per square inch of force you gave it, right? And so the coach went first and kicked it as hard as he could with his karate kick. And he was like, yeah, look at that. And so the other guy did a Tai Chi kick, and the whole point of Tai Chi is when you're moving your hands, the energy is coming from your center, from the dantian, from your solar plexus. Everything else is loose. And so when you're spinning to defend yourself with your arms or your legs, they're empty like noodles. So it's like a whip. And so when he kicked, he did it with the Tai Chi kick, and it was like twice as strong as the coach's karate kick. And the karate coach was not happy with that and actually attacked the student to kind of prove his point that, oh, that's nothing compared to karate. And the Tai Chi student, boom, dicked the coach without any effort. And since then, that coach had so much more respect for Tai Chi and the softer arts, because that's where the power is. It's in that spinning. And, if you're to use it defensively, it's like if you're spinning from the hips, from your solar plexus, and your arms are just following through like a whip, there is so much more power there. And it's to divert that energy out of the way. You're spinning, nothing can touch you, right? So, anyway. Those are our 3 cards for tonight. And I think I'm going to leave it there. I am really one tired puppy. And like I said earlier, if I were to do the guided meditation, I think I would probably fall asleep. So again, if number 1 was your card, you got the lynx. Number 2 was the snake. Number 3 was the grouse. And so if you need to hear that again, I will share this to my Facebook page. I will upload it to my Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel. Okay, don't fall asleep yet. And like I said, if you watch last week's video for the Monday mini medicine card readings, at the end of it, there is a guided meditation. And you can use that guided meditation with whoever popped up tonight and get the same result, so that you have your personal message from that animal. Because I can sit here and talk for hours and hours and hours about what I see and what they mean to me. But just like we each have a unique relationship with Source, we each have a unique relationship with our animal guides. And what is meaningful for me may not be meaningful for you. There might be a whole different message that they want to give you that I didn't cover. So always, always listen to the authority of your heart over what I say. Listen, foster that relationship with your own guides, because that's where the real authority is, okay? So thank you so much for joining me. I know we're a little abbreviated. I was a little bit late getting on, but thank you for waiting for me. Thank you for joining me. I am so grateful for your presence. Thank you for your support in watching this. Feel free to share this video far and wide. Invite your friends next week. I will try to be on time. And if you enjoyed this and you're interested in getting a personal reading, please just ask. You can check out my website at perchingwolfstudios.net, and you can connect with me there, or you can message me through Messenger, through Facebook, to set up your own appointment. We can do it in person at my office. We can do it over Zoom. I love doing this work. I was in tears after this weekend when I mentioned I got to do a birthday party. So I got to read for like 10 or 12 people all in one afternoon, and it was amazing. And I like, most of the people, including me, were crying by the end. So I love doing this. My job is to empower you. My job is to help you find your path, your connection to spirit. And so whatever I can do, I would love to help. So again, check out my website to see what other shamanic services I offer. Join me on Wednesday nights at 7 for a sacred pipe ceremony. Do each every Wednesday, and just set sacred space for us to just hold our intentions, to hold our prayers, to offer them to Great Spirit on the smoke of the tobacco beings. And what else? Oh, and if you are interested in learning about shamanism, I am going to be teaching my Introduction to Shamanic Journey class on Friday, I almost said December, Friday, July 30th from 2 to 5. I don't know exactly where yet, what vehicle we're going to use. It depends on who signs up. If everyone that signs up is local, we might do it in person at Four Sisters Holistic Remedies in downtown Renton here. Or if there are out-of-town people signing up, we might do it over Zoom. So go ahead and sign up, and we'll figure it out from there. I'll make that decision probably a week before the actual time, so we all are on the same page and we know. But oh, and I haven't actually even posted that yet, so that's on my agenda for tomorrow. I will get that up on my event calendar, on my Facebook page, and on my website. So again, thank you so much for joining me. It means a lot. I so appreciate your presence here. I so appreciate your support in this and everything I do. So thank you so much. So have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful night. Know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will see you soon. Go shining. Bye.